What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sister Time podcast. I am Chanel Latrice.
I'm Sharice.
And my face is hurting.
Sharice,
I'm sure.
why you start laughing?
Because of her.
Oh, because of her face.
Yeah.
You see, it's all swollen on this one side. I just got the feeling back in my lip.
You've been slobbing on yourself.
I have not, because only this bottom part was numbed. Everything else was fine.
Is it coming out the corner right now?
Shut the hell up.
Sorry, I shouldn't make you laugh. It probably hurt.
Oh yeah. Yes, I had to eat to take the medicine, and even like opening my mouth to eat hurt. So
You know, you just blended all your food up and sucked it through.
I
a straw.
actually had chicken salad and crackers like an idiot.
Yes, crackers of all things, really.
That's what I had in the house. Hell, I wasn't prepared for this.
You should get some better than bouillon and some water and drink some more.
First of all, you can't even put nothing that hot on something that's fresh, and also, ew, it's gross.
What? Why y'all laugh? I'm serious. Throw some in some rice or something.
I'm drinking room temperature water because I can't put nothing too hot or too cold on here.
Room temperature water is good anyway.
I prefer my water very, very cold.
That only works when you're drunk or it's really hot outside.
That's just how I prefer my water.
Yes.
It's not a work thing. It's how I prefer.
How you doing today, Sharice? In the past couple weeks?
What happened?
We skipped a week.
Yeah, and I didn't even realize that we said we was going to. I was definitely saying her wedding.
Huh?
Last week I was saying her wedding. I didn't even realize we had said we skipped a week because my days run together, so I didn't even realize that was a thing.
Well, Chanel's out partying.
I'm gonna be straight up. I kind of forgot it was Monday. And then your mama was having me take picklebacks with her.
Oh God.
Because for some reason in her head she thinks she can drink. But of course she was laying out on the patio furniture, knocked the hell out.
I mean, I made Renee take her first pickleback shot last summer, so
picklebacks are so good.
She had never had one before.
The first time I had it was like the second or third season of Braxton Family Values when they went to Russia, and I saw it on there, and I was like, what? And I tasted it, I was like, oh, maybe they're onto something.
My friends are from Kentucky, so I've been drinking them for a while. It's in the country bars. They've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Well, as y'all see, what Siobhan's been doing is getting her mouth worked on.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about this journey I've been on these last couple weeks, and I had a root canal 2 hours ago, which is why it sounds funny.
2 hours, okay.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said, girl. We could have just not did it right now.
Sorry, 3 hours. It's been 3 hours now. I had a root canal 3 hours ago. This is why I sound funny.
My mouth is gonna be on fire at the end of this.
Probably. I'm recording another one right after this too. That's the fun thing. Listen, the hustle don't stop just because you had to get a little surgery.
Shit, when you got to talk it, dude.
Nah, I can still talk. So I can talk and y'all can understand me for the most part. I took the pain pills right before we started, so by the time it started to hurt too bad, the pain pills when it kicked in.
And then she'll start slurring.
Just ibuprofen. I can't take the good shit. I'm allergic to codeine, so I can't take none of the good shit. It's just ibuprofen.
Well, on that note, we do have a little bit of an announcement for all of our listeners. Siobhan, would you like to let them know the announcement?
I will be going on a bit of a hiatus. Not sure if this is temporary or permanent. It's in the air right now, but this will be my last episode for a while. But I'm sure these two will keep you guys more than entertained.
We'll try.
I will still have the other podcast going. I'm just taking a hiatus from this one.
We will try to keep you all entertained. I'm sure we'll be able to do that. Don't ever get it twisted though. She's still our sister and we still love her. So Don't ever think it's anything going on between the three.
Nah, it's
of us, 'cause
no
that's
beef.
not what it is.
Right.
It's no beef. It's just a lot happening in
beef.
my life, and I just need a little bit of time to focus. So I gotta start compartmentalizing things.
Yeah, she my only big sister. Trust me, ain't nothing
Yeah,
going
ain't no
on.
beef. Ain't nothing like that. It's just the compartmentalizing stuff.
Yeah,
For sure.
but we will keep it going. Sharice and I. Of course, as she said, she doesn't know if it's gonna be permanent or temporary. But if that ends up being her decision, either way, we will support and we will
And I'll
welcome
still,
back with
even if it
open
ends up
arms.
being permanent, I'll still pop back in here and there just to get on
never
here
know.
and talk
If
shit.
we have in our schedule for guests,
I'll still pop in just to talk shit. Damn.
She told you.
we gotta schedule an appointment.
I ain't scheduling nothing. My name's still on the banner. Don't play me.
She said schedule an appointment. That's funny. All righty, well, I guess we could go ahead and get into today's topic. Sharice, you actually don't introduce the topics a lot. Would you like to introduce this one?
No, but I can, because that's not my that's not my role.
I
Not
mean,
your
it's like,
shush.
what are y'all roles? Like,
Yeah, Chanel, for Chanel to do it. I was trying to think of a question to ask, but I wanted this episode to be around the topic of why are women judged based on keeping a man?
patriarchy.
So I'll ask this question before you get into that. Is a woman's purpose on this earth to be a mother and a wife?
My opinion or the general consensus?
Do both, whichever one you want
My
to tackle
opinion?
first.
My opinion, absolutely not. It reduces women down to too much. To only two things, and that's ridiculously crazy. We're not two-dimensional beings where we can only do two things. I don't like the fact that that's a thing. I think that also goes to show how far we still have to go in regards to looking at women as any level of being any type of equal to men, because they're judged on more than just two things. You know, they can have the family and the career and the money in the bank and the vacations and the good job, all that crazy crap. But women, if you're not a mother and or wife, you have failed as a woman, and it's complete and total BS in my opinion. Now, what society says, unfortunately, they still say if you're not a mother and a wife, then you have failed as a woman, and you better do it by the time you're about 30, because beyond that, you crazy, there's something wrong with you, you must not be able to have children, you've wasted your years, all of the crap that they say. So my opinion, no, it should not be that way. Me understanding how society views it, unfortunately, they still view it that way.
But you said something that's the only two things that women should do. I don't know exactly what you said, something like that.
Society says that those are the only two things. Like, if you're not, the only two things that shows you were successful at being a woman is to be a mother and a wife. If you don't have those, then you weren't a successful woman.
Yeah, that is how society is. But would you say that's the main purpose of women, to be a mother or wife?
What society says, yes, that's the only purpose for women, is to be a mother and a wife.
Well, I'm asking you personally, would you think that's not the main purpose either?
No.
Okay.
I don't think that's the main purpose.
Well, Siobhan, if you can speak.
I can. I was waiting my turn.
You are a mother and a wife, so I was wondering definitely what you think.
Neither happened on purpose, but here we are. I think that from a societal standpoint, we like to reduce people to things we understand, right? Women get reduced to the sum of their attachments, i.e., husbands, kids, things of that nature. So they get reduced to being caretakers in whatever sense they mean, whereas men get reduced to the sum of their income levels, right?
Mhm.
Because you don't, once the kid is born, you don't hear a celebration of this person as a father. You hear the celebration of what he does at work. You hear his value based on how much he earns or what he has created in the world of business and what he contributes to the capitalistic society. But outside of the cigars at birth, you never hear about the impact this man makes on his children. And even if you look at the way male teachers have been looked at, it's changing now. But if men are educators and they're not professors, they don't get the same respect because they expect men to be college professors because those are supposed to be like the highest intelligence, right? The highest level. That's what the women handle, the easy stuff.
Oh, somebody.
Oh, that was me. I didn't realize the alert was still on my computer. And he just texted me. But
Siobhan's going through some stuff.
We
Whoever's
having problems
listening, not watching the
today.
video.
yeah, it's too much going on. But whereas, so yeah, like they're supposed to be like the upper echelons, right? Men are supposed to contribute to the rearing and the growing of children. They're supposed to direct the adults. Whereas women aren't supposed to direct the adults, they're supposed to grow the children and then hand them off when they get to be a certain age. That's why the thing is always, you go from your father to your husband.
Right.
The men direct the adults, the women raise the children. That's how our society goes. Do I think, I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong, right? If your ultimate goal is to be a wife and mother, live your life. I think it becomes an issue when you walk up to every single woman. When you gonna get married? When you gonna have kids? First of all, it's none of your goddamn business. Secondly, you don't know what they may be going through. And even if they ain't going through shit, maybe they just don't want kids. And that's a right that they have. And I think that's the part that we need to acknowledge, that women do have the right to decide they don't want to get married. They don't want to have kids. That don't mean they're unhappy people. That don't make them any less of, maybe her goal in life is to get her coins and just travel the world. The goal doesn't have to, because a lot of people make marriage and kids the goal, but don't do the work to get there. They don't do the work on themselves to have a lasting marriage. They just want to say they got married. They don't do the work on themselves to correct the things that fuck them up growing up so that they don't fuck up their kids. They just want to say they got kids. That's why, like, people act like it's a feat if you graduate high school when you had kids young, instead of saying, oh, we failed this child because we didn't teach proper sex ed, so they didn't have kids young. You know what I'm saying? Like, we try to romanticize childbearing and childbirth and child rearing without acknowledging what it really is. Like, you see I see this a lot, because here and there, somebody will try to add me to one of those mom groups on social media, which I absolutely fucking refuse to be a part of. But you'll see a lot of, you shouldn't complain. Children are a gift. They're a blessing. God bless you. And it's like, well, children are also assholes. And you have the right to say that. Kids are dicks. And they don't mean to be. They just don't know no other way to express their emotions. It is what it is. You have the right to say, my kid was a jerk today and worked my last fucking nerve. Doesn't make you less of a mother if you say that. Dads don't get that because dads are fun. They come in from work, take you to the park. Y'all get all the fun shit. Y'all don't have to do the disciplinary shit because that's not how dads are raised. Their dad didn't do it. They don't think they got to do it. Dads come in from work. They do the fun shit at the house. Even a married mother is a single mother if you really get down to it, because mothers do all the hard shit. Yeah,
I wouldn't say that though.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead.
yes, you have the financial support of a 2-parent household. But if you're a stay-at-home mother, you're doing all the kid shit plus the house shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're still doing the same work of a single mother. You just don't have to go to work. So that's slightly less on you. Like, take that back. You're not working outside the house. Not that you're not working, because you're still doing all the shit in the house. Yeah, you don't have the financial burden of a single parent, but the workloads are the same, because we're not about to act like anybody's there. Because even this nigga that living here don't come home from work and automatically think, let me grab the kids. She's had them all day. Men don't think like that. They don't. If you don't specifically tell a man what you want him to do, he's not gonna think to do it. That's just how it goes.
Do you think that's like our natural roles though? That's a question for both of you guys.
I don't think that I don't think there's such thing as natural roles. I think roles are taught. Instincts are one thing. Roles are taught.
Well, Chanel?
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe in roles. I feel like roles are whatever the two in the relationship has decided they're going to do, versus it being women do this, men do this. Now, granted, yes, I mean, there's studies and everything that show women are better at this, men are better at that. I understand that, but I don't think it never comes down to, I'm not gonna say never. Women tend to have the ability of recognizing emotion quicker.
Right.
So maybe that'll help with the raising of children. You know, things like that. But I'm not saying that doesn't mean, and to me, that doesn't mean that a woman's role is to be the one that's at home with the children all the time and doing the disciplinary stuff. You know, I'm not saying that that's her role and then his role is to do something else. I wouldn't necessarily say that. I agree with what Siobhan said in regards to it being more so being taught that men are supposed to do this, women are supposed to do this. I mean, when you just look at ever since you were little, you constantly heard men are supposed to take care of the household. You always hear that. You don't let a man sit at home and do nothing. You don't let him not have a job. He's not supposed to just lay on your couch. Like, you hear all of this, so you're taught he's supposed to go out and work and then allow you to do the in-house things. So I don't think that it's a role by natural selection. I think it's a role by the way we are taught from a young age.
It's a societal,
yes.
It's a societal socialization in the way that men and women are supposed to interact. But that really does come down to people need to put people in a box. This is why gay people cause people so much stress, because they can't put their relationship in a box, right? Because even when you see gay couples, whether it's 2 men or 2 women, some idiot always says, "Who's the boy and who's the girl?"
Yeah,
it's because they need to be able
to
true. Put it into a box. That's how we operate as people. Everybody needs to put something in a box, and if you can't, it fucks you up and it scares you, and then you become either afraid of it or hateful towards it, because that's what fear does.
So if there was no pink, no blue, no like society rules, you guys think it would be totally different? Like, this household maybe like the woman likes to work and everything, and the man wants to be at home with the kids. Because I know households.
Sorry, go ahead.
I know houses like that happen already, but it's not the majority. Maybe because of society. But I'm asking you guys, if that stuff didn't come to play, it would be like, this household is this way, that household is that way.
I mean, you're seeing the shift now as we speak, because our generation and younger are kind of rejecting those societal roles. So you're seeing more stay-at-home dads. You're seeing more women are the breadwinners of the household. You're seeing more, men supporting their wives' new businesses. And like, you're seeing those shifts even as we speak. Part of it is because there's a lot more non-traditional families. When I say non-traditional, I mean, LGBTQ families. You're seeing a lot more women are taking control of their reproduction, whether it's they're deciding to be single parents or they're deciding to not have kids. Men are more involved in the process because it wasn't just like men just said, fuck that shit, I ain't going. Men weren't allowed to go to the appointments and stuff. Men weren't allowed to connect to the babies in that way, which definitely had an effect on how they connected once the babies got here, right? Because you're the pregnant one, you're automatically connected. The men are only connected vicariously through you. Up until about 20, 30 years ago, that's when, maybe a little bit longer, but it hasn't been that long. It's been less than 50 years that all practices start allowing men to come in to go to the appointments. Start allowing men to be in the room when their kids were born. So maybe 30, maybe 40. I'm not exactly sure of the time, but I know it hasn't been that recent because before when Mama was born, men weren't really allowed. Like if your particular doctor said okay, but the natural, like the consensus throughout the practice was that men weren't supposed to be in there. If the man wasn't a doctor, why was he in there? So it's like they didn't have that time, that development time to connect, which is why fathers now are way more involved than fathers used to be, because they're getting that time through the development process to connect and to be a part of. They're there to hear the first heartbeat. They're there to see, the first major body scan and that kind of stuff, whereas before they weren't. So this was just an amorphous being to them until a baby happened. But it's like, you can't just expect baby's born, now I know exactly what to do, because they ain't had no time to prepare like we did.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back and answer the question because I didn't get my answer. So I was sitting here thinking what I thought, and I think I'm going to say yes, just from a biological standpoint, like women bring life into this world. So with that thought, I'm thinking maybe women main purpose is supposed to be a mother, because we're the one that will carry on the species.
I mean, if you're talking about actual like biological, then sure, but contribution to society, I don't.
If we're talking biological, that burden is placed on both men and women, because a woman can't do it without a man. So if the whole point, because I understand that biology, absolutely, the whole point of species is to continue your species. I get that, but you need both. So my stance, if his primary thing isn't to also create more babies, then my primary thing shouldn't be to create more babies.
Because that's biologically, that's what.
If we're just talking about biology, animals, and they're meant to just continue their species, but you need both male and female. Yeah. If women both a sperm and you need both a sperm and an egg. So you can't say that the one that bears the egg has a higher, like, it's higher on the importance of the person that has the egg versus the one that has the sperm.
I think the reason I said that is because women are the one who gives birth. But I see what you guys are saying though, because you need both. You do need both. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But because the women gives birth and typically more nurturing, I know you guys said that might be like a social thing, but that's kind of why I'm leaning towards, yes, that's the main purpose, not the only, but main. I'm not sure about if women would not be as nurturing without society.
I mean, no one's.
Hold on, wait. Say that again.
I'm not sure if women wouldn't be as nurturing as we are if the society influences wasn't coming into play.
Okay, so I don't think society directly has to do with women being more nurturing. I think society has to do with men not showing how nurturing they are.
Right.
Maybe.
So like for example, when we were younger, if you take people like us that were black children that went to a predominantly white school, so therefore we were exposed to different things, maybe we listened to different types of music and things along those lines. Society said that we should not have been listening to soft rock, so sometimes you wouldn't listen to what you really wanted to listen to because society says you're not supposed to.
And the other people,
show it
because people around you tell you not black enough because
right. So you just like, so you like, you know what? I don't even
talk to proper. You're not black enough,
right? So you don't want to go down the road. You're like, you know what? I'm not even gonna show who I really am because I don't feel like going through that. So I think that is more so what happens with some men where they feel like they're going to be labeled, oh, you soft, you a punk, you not hard enough, you know, all of that crap, you not a real man, if he has the audacity to show that he has the ability of emotionally connecting with the child. It's going to be, that's women things like, why are you doing that? And so now he's like, okay, well, I don't really want to deal with that. So
there's a direct
keep quiet
relation between income levels and displays of masculinity.
Displays of masculinity?
Let me explain. The more money you have, the more you're allowed to show emotion, right? Because everybody look at Serena Williams' husband, right? Everybody talks about how much he goes out for her and that baby. He bought a billboard to celebrate her because she was depressed. He flew her and the baby to Italy because they wanted spaghetti, you know, shit like that. We celebrate that shit, right?
Russell Wilson,
same thing.
Wait. When you say we, say women, because I don't think men celebrate that. Maybe we can talk about that after you get finished.
That's what I mean. Women, we.
Okay, because you said we. I thought when you first said we, I thought you was talking about everybody. So women. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not talking about men in this. When I'm talking about society, because society is mostly women, I mean the female parts of society in this particular statement.
Okay.
Right. But we celebrate that, right? We talking about, oh my God, I need Sierra's prayer. I want what Serena has, you know, all of that, right? If we took those same actions, scaled them down to a level that the random Joe walking down the street can afford, like maybe he can't buy you a billboard, but he go buy you some teddy bears and flowers because you was feeling sad. Or, you know, you decide you want something and then you get a lot of that, oh my God, he's always up under me. He's such a bitch. He don't just get out and do stuff, because it's the level of emotions that you're ready to, that is accepted for a man to show directly ties to his income level. Because if you got time to do all of this, that means you ain't out there working and hustling, trying to get no money. And these are things that I have heard many women say, because it's like they always claim they want this stuff. That guy is right there, but y'all don't want him because he's too broke for y'all. Because he can do the same, the actions will be the same, the scale will be different. They don't want the emotion, the action behind it. They want the show around it.
Because you guys heard of the term simp floating around, right? Okay. So they're considered simps. And
now, we can talk about that, but you know.
No, that's gonna have to be a whole different episode. But because you said we as in women like celebrate them. Men do not, they will call them simps. And what's out there is that eventually women are going to get tired of the man doing all that for them because it's simp behavior. So would you not agree with that? You think women actually like doing that?
Well, because that word has been bastardized a bit, right? Let's talk about what the word actually meant. When you were called a simp, when the word first came into play, you were somebody who would go above and beyond to agree with the women's opinions under the guise of trying to get some sympathy sex. So you do the most trying to get sex. It wasn't that you genuinely or honestly felt that way, but this was your way in, right? A lot of men, usually the ones who do the bare fucking minimum, the niggas that barely change their drawers, then took that word to apply it to men who love their spouses out loud. If the man takes the time to learn your love language, and that's the way that and they express their love for you in that way, in a way that is as public as you won't get tired of that. But a lot of men are afraid that the women they dealing with see this too much. She'll start to think, well, goddamn, I can have that too. And then it becomes a problem for them because they don't want to do that.
Chanel, were you about to say something?
I was, because you were asking, would women eventually get tired of that? I actually don't think they would, not the one that wants it.
Right.
Now, if you try to have this blanket thing, like, you know what?
Tisk.
It's because it comes up on my computer.
That's hilarious, y'all.
I thought I turned this on Do Not Disturb.
Sharice, I think we would it would be okay to speak about this. You and Nisi were talking at one point. We're talking about spouses being right there, all of that. Remember that? Yeah. So a perfect example is like in that situation, we were talking how I'm an individual who likes for a man to be right there. Like, I want to sleep in the bed with you every night. I don't want you to not be there. You, on the other hand, was saying, I really don't care. I mean, if you're not there for 4 days, it's not that deep to me.
He's a CDL driver, yeah.
So if you have someone so you and I can't date the same man. The thing that I would agree with, that I would love and I would never want to stop, you'll be like, damn it, leave me alone.
Yeah, no,
so
I'm very
okay. If you try to have this blanket thing where you assume all women want that, that's another one of the issues that you have. So a woman like you will probably get tired of it. A woman like me would be like, keep it coming. So I don't think that women will get upset about it. It's depend on the woman that you're trying to do it to, and if that's what she actually likes.
What about in general? You think we can generalize women and men's interaction?
No.
Hold on. Wait. What do you mean?
Generalize women and men's interaction. Like most women would most women would get tired of having that guy just doing all this stuff for her and feel like she could just walk all over.
You can't.
Okay. I don't believe that, because the thing is the you showing me a lot of emotion does not equate to you being a doormat. And I feel like that's another problem that people assume. Just because you show me all of this affection and you do all these things for me, that doesn't mean that I have the ability of walking all over you. It just means that you understand that this is something that I enjoy. But when it comes time for us to have a discussion, you hold your own. When it comes time for me to be like, we need to make whatever decisions in this house, I need your legitimate, honest opinion, and you can come and have that conversation with me. So the getting tired of it tends to be more along the lines of, I can walk all over you, not the fact that you show me all of this affection.
I mean, to try to generalize relationships between men and women would be, in a way, making us a monolith, right? And you can't. That's a lot of the issues that happen when you see these broad conversations happening. Well, Black men and Black women, because we're not a monolith. Black people aren't a monolith. Men aren't a monolith. Women aren't a monolith. There's so many different things to factor in, not just like born personality things, but I mean, your environment does help to shape who you are, right? There's so many different things that go into creating you as a person that you are. The three of us grew up in the same house, but once we left that house, we've had totally different experiences. So we don't interact the same way. We don't communicate the same way. We don't look for the same type of men or even people to be friends with. Like, we're just not. There's some similarities because at the core, we were raised the same way. But once you start getting into life and experiences, everything goes so many different ways that you can't generalize interactions between the sexes like that.
Okay. I asked that because I'm seeing this a lot, and I guess I'm studying because I know we're doing this podcast on the manosphere and all these like I guess influencers that are saying things like the term simp or hypergamy. So that's why I'm asking these questions because I don't know.
But see, I've seen a lot of those ones that want to yell about these simps and stuff also don't want to talk about misogynoir. So if you can't acknowledge all of it, we're not gonna take you seriously.
I probably want to do like a deeper dive into all of that, the manosphere and everything in a different episode. But I want to ask Chanel a question, if you don't mind answering, because the original topic is about, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the pressure.
Women basically being
Yeah.
defined if you're a wife or a mother.
Right. Are you feeling any pressure now? I don't know if you want to say your age.
I don't
Probably
care.
don't care.
34.
So you probably don't care.
From who?
Society, that's probably, well, I know the answer, but you feeling any pressure from
Well,
society?
you might not know the answer.
Oh, no?
Believe it or not. So the only people that actually give me any kind of pressure or question and all of that are the baby boomers and silent generation within my family. That's
Silent?
it. Yeah, that's our grandparents' generation. That's the name of their generation.
Okay.
So the baby boomers and the silent generation within my family are the only ones that even really speak about anything in regards to me having children or being in any kind of relationship. And then there's 2 millennials, but beyond that, it's actually
I know who they are.
It's actually not a lot of people. You'd be surprised how, since it's the Gen Ys and the millennials that people are kind of listening to now, because now we're the adults that's in the right age. You know what I'm saying? We're not the ones that's considered super old and old school, and we're not the ones that people are considering, you too young, you don't know anything.
We're the policy makers now.
Right. So since that's the group that's kind of like in charge, kind of, I don't actually get as much pressure as people would think. It's more so the older ones within my family, and then 2 that's my age in my family.
What about personal pressure?
Heck no. I actually got to the point about like 2 years ago, I just started noticing the way the world was and looking at people that I know that have children. And I'm like, that shit looks stressful as hell. And the way the world is going, I'm like, I don't know if I want children necessarily in this that will stress me out to that level, with the consistent worry every time they leave the house, with the things that they are running into and being taught. And I got to worry about, all of this chaos. I got to the point where I was like, you know what? 49% of me, if I don't have kids, I'm all right with that. And I know when I was younger, I used to always say I'll have kids, but now I'm like 49% of me is like, I am okay if I don't have children. I won't necessarily put it out, but I made a decision after I hit a certain age, if I haven't had any kids, then it's just, the buck stops here. It is what it is.
So, you know how they always say, you get a lot of people, a lot of boomers, a lot of people older trying to give you parenting advice, and then you really have to say, like, each generation of kids is different, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to raise each generation of kids differently. Brooklyn is 7, right? Brooklyn reads the news every day. Every single day, she reads the news. This is something she just started doing. She enjoys it. She reads the news every day. A lot of times she'll sit and she'll read the news headlines to us. If a headline interests her, she'll actually read the story. Today, there was a story about Kamala Harris. And she reads any story written about the president, the vice president, because she was really invested in this election cycle, because it's the first one that she was really old enough to understand and pay attention to. So it was a story about Kamala Harris, and it was about her, something about, I didn't read the story, so I'm giving y'all Brooklyn's summary of it because I was, nursing my swollen face. But it was something about her telling immigrants not to come to the country, right?
Okay.
Y'all can look up the details. I'm giving y'all the 7-year-old summary because, again, I did not. I know she was in Guatemala. I didn't investigate what she was doing there. But Brooklyn, she came, she asked the question. She's like, well, why would she first she said, Kamala Harris is breaking her campaign promises. I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, she said she was going to make the world a better place. And then she told the immigrants not to come here. That's not making the world a better place. That's being mean. Because if I told kids not to come on my playground, I would get in trouble. So this is, 7-year-old logic. So it's like, on one hand, it's like, I'm glad she's paying attention enough to ask these questions, but I wasn't asking them questions at 7. At 7, I didn't know what the fuck was going on in politics, but it's like, we're raising kids in such a connected, like she asked me about Brexit the other day.
About what? About breakfast?
Brexit.
Oh, I'm about to say that's normal. She hungry. Just on some breakfast.
But it's like we're raising these children in such a connected way. This is what I say about Gen Z all the time. It's like, although I don't understand most of the shit they do, they're so connected and so informed that this is why you're seeing the changes. It's starting with us, but we weren't even as connected as they are.
Not at all.
So it's like we're that transitional where it's like we remember life before the internet, but we've also had it long enough that we know how to find what we want to find, right? So, but we're also exposed enough that we can see where our parents fucked up. And we can see why this didn't work. And we can understand why society, like our parental influences made us look at these things the way they did. And we're actively working to change those things that don't really serve us and don't work for whatever reason, right? Whereas the generation younger than us, they've always been disconnected. So they come out the womb like, that shit sounds stupid, right? Like, cause look at this, and this. Like, that's why I would say the kids will be all right. Like, they're gonna be fine. But this is why you're seeing these shifts and changes, because the younger these people are, the less these societal norms even make sense to them. So they're not adhering to them. Now you're seeing kids' cartoons where the dad stays home and the mom goes out to work. Or where both parents work at home and the mom and dad alternates between who's with the kids. Like you're seeing, and this is the stuff that is being introduced to them at very young ages. Like right now, Sahara likes this cartoon, Bluey. They're dogs, first of all. They're Australian dogs. But it's both parents work at home. And they pick and choose which parent they're gonna interrupt today. They don't never leave their house. They just do all this shit in the house. But they just go back and forth with which parent they gonna fuck with today. But that's what they used to. We both work at home. They go in this room and fuck with mommy, go in that room and fuck with daddy, and that's what they're used to. So you're seeing changes. You're gonna see more as the little ones get older, especially Gen Z. That's when when they get to the age of being the policymakers, that's when you're gonna see a large shift in the way society looks at things.
Do you think this will be changes for good or like to our detriment though?
I mean, any growth is for good.
I would say all changes have pros and cons.
Yeah, all changes there's going to be things that happen as a result of change. I mean, you're seeing it now.
People talk about, the way that children now are so connected to their electronic devices. People talk about that. It's like, yeah, a con is the fact that they may not necessarily have as they don't necessarily have really good people skills
They're
and problem
socially
solving
awkward as
skills or
hell.
socially
But
awkward
Yeah,
and all
they
of
really
that.
are.
But then the plus side to it is they know how to do a lot of things for themselves because they know how to get on these electronic devices, and then they have their world opened up to understand that, hey, just because you are such and such doesn't mean that this is the only thing that you can do. You have all these different things that you can do, and they're open to more people than just their parents and teachers telling them what they can and can't do when they get older. So I think everything has their pros and cons, no matter
I
what
mean,
the
even
change is.
look at this boom of racial violence, right? Like race-based hate crimes. And part of it is because the flames were stoked and everything, but it's a direct result of the fact that Black and brown people are becoming the most educated people in the world. Is that Black women in this country have started more businesses than anybody. Is that all this? So it's like every time, it's always, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. That's always how it goes. Because there's always going to be somebody that you have to pull along, kicking and screaming, or they die. Either way, that's how it goes. It's either it's either that you get with it or you get lost. It's a reason why that's a thing. Like it's.
Do you feel like it's like to a detriment? It seemed as if the way you asked that question, you were leaning more toward that way.
Maybe because I know the marriage rate and birth rate are down. I don't have a full opinion on it yet. So yeah, I'm leaning towards yes to the detriment with these changes in, I guess, roles. And
But that's not just because of societal or gender norm changes. That also has to do with we millennials have strapped with more debt by the age of 21 than any generation before us.
it's true. That is true.
Because the cost of everything went up and none of the wages did. So people can afford to have children. Millennials boomerang back to their parents' house more than any generation before us. But a big part of that is because we were strapped with $200,000 worth of debt before 21. So
yeah, I don't think it would be the only reason. Definitely not. Like I said, I don't have a full opinion on it. That's something I have to think about it, but I think it had something to do with the lower rates, just things changing, and maybe people don't know how to do this whole no roles. We just kind of figure it out. Maybe people are figuring out how these new relationships. Maybe that's another reason why the rates are going down as well.
I mean, do you think that's necessarily a detriment? Like it's bad enough to consider it like a detriment to something? Because I mean, you look at our mother, she had 7 kids. We don't need to add a whole lot more. Her sister had 6. Her brother had 6. One of our grandparents came from a family of 15. Another one came from a family of 7. Another one came from a family of 6. I mean, do we have to keep having these enormous families?
No, not enormous families. Maybe like 1 or 2 children.
I'm just saying. But the thing
but
is,
that's also why.
But that's still a decrease. That's still a decrease
having
though.
fewer kids.
Yeah, before like people had it set out. They wanted a whole lot of kids. Now people like, I want 2,
7, 8, 9 kids.
Yeah,
I would have been the freak just having 2.
Right.
Especially 2 this far apart. So birth rate isn't so much people aren't having kids, they're not having as many.
Okay, that's possible. But still the marriage rate as well is down. I don't know the numbers, but that's down as well.
I do feel like the marriage rate is down, but I also think that we do. I think part of the reason the marriage rate is down is actually a good thing, because it was like you got pregnant at 16, get married, so that counted as somebody getting married. You got pregnant, you better hurry up and get married as soon as you get out of high school. That counted as somebody getting married. We no longer do that, where it's like if you get pregnant young or pregnant at all, honestly, if you get pregnant, it's like you have to marry the person that got you pregnant. We no longer feel that way, which in my opinion, I feel like that's a good thing, that it's not a forced marriage like it used to be.
think another reason why it might be down is because women aren't prioritizing marriage young. You know, we spoke about this like a couple podcasts ago when how men, when they get older, they want the younger women. They don't want you no more. So I feel like that might have something to do with it as well. Because they call it like you hit the wall, like you turn what they say, I don't know, 32 or something. They don't even want you anymore. So maybe
So
women
marriage rates
waiting.
have been declining steadily since the 80s. If we think about what was going on in the 80s, that was the real start of women in executive roles and women, like the career woman was the thing. That's why the look of the 80s was the power suit, right? So there is a decline in marriage rates, although there's not a decline in cohabitation rates, because you're seeing more people who are in long-term relationships choosing to live together for extended periods of time before getting married, if they get married at all. So you're seeing more relationships in the cohabitation stage versus getting married and then divorce, because the divorce rate is also down.
The divorce rate is down?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Because people who are getting married now are getting married more by choice, not by force, whether it's internal, external, or whatever the things are. They're getting married more by choice now.
I didn't know that. That puts some things in perspective a little bit to go with what Chanel said, how, you know, boom, you're 16, go and get married back in the day. So maybe people are making better choices. I don't know, because I never heard that. I gotta look that up. I didn't know divorce rates were down. Okay.
So
see, that's why I like to look at different things to do the research, because that will help me form my opinion.
So people are getting married older, but they're staying married longer.
I could definitely see that. I mean, let's be 100% honest. All of us are, well, I done said my age, and everybody know one of y'all younger and the other one older. So we're all at least twice 16. We don't think the same way we did at 16. We don't accept the same shit we did at 16. We don't have the same things on our mind as what's important as we did at 16. So if any of us would have got married at 16, I'm pretty sure by the time at this age, all of us would have been divorced.
If I would have married the nigga I was fucking with when I was 16, we would either be divorced or one of us would be dead.
Yes, I mean, it's just like, you know, you're not the same at 16. And the fact that it was kind of, I mean, I'm just using 16. Obviously, we know there were people that got married a little bit older. 17 ain't old either, 18, 19, 20, you know. But the way
it depends on your age, the age you consider your state.
The way you are at 25, we aren't like that. All of us are almost 10 years older than 25.
I was about to say, even if I would have got married, I think at 28, I would have got divorced. At 28, I believe I would have got divorced.
I wouldn't say that. No. If I would have got married at 20, shit, I would have.
I'm saying my mindset, because I was in the same relationship I am now at 28. I don't know. They would be totally different.
I mean, I was 25 when we got together. And
got together and got married, two different things.
Hold on. Let me get there. I was 25, between 25 and 29. I know we broke up once. Yeah, we almost broke up again. Hell, when we first got married, we almost got divorced. It was just, but I mean, now at 36, it's different, but we had to grow together, but we made a conscious choice to actually work and grow together. And that's what a lot of people don't realize.
And I got a question.
That's a lot that people don't realize, that as a teenager in your early 20s, that's something that you need to understand. You're not with the same person when they were 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. That's a different individual. So marriage is not only, I want to be with you for the rest of mine and or your life. I want to grow with you. And I understand that you're not going to be the same person. You're not even going to be the same person you were yesterday. Yeah. Something happened to you today that is going to shape the way that you feel about tomorrow. So I had to understand that I am agreeing to grow with you and accept your growth as we're going along, or we will for surely become divorced.
Version to come.
Correct.
Well, and I asked you, Siobhan, the thing that you almost got divorced over, now at 36, would that even be close to getting divorced when you think back on it?
That's a hard question to answer.
Possible.
Is it impossible?
To me, it is, because it wasn't one thing, and all of it wasn't in our relationship. Because it was like, if you look at where we were at that time, you know, an infant, a new house in a new city with new jobs and a bunch of people in the house. So it wasn't all internal. It was a lot of external stressors. I'm not putting it on any one thing or one situation or anything like that. It was shit we needed to figure out that we hadn't figured out before then, because we wasn't thinking that far or like that, because we were in our 20s. Like, it was like shit we had to figure out when it comes to communication, when it came to love language, when it came, like, a lot of different things that we had to figure out that we never took the time to do before. And then you take all that and then add all these external stressors on it. So can I say right now, like right now in the same circumstances? Probably. But it's because it was a lot going on. And then also, let's see, Brooklyn was born in July. We almost split up in October. So my hormones were still raging. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of shit going on.
Honestly, the thing is about that I don't even think, and understandably so, men don't get that, especially within the first year, you are not looking at the same person you were looking at prior to that woman being pregnant.
Exactly.
You are not looking at that
through pregnancy from
that's why I said prior to being pregnant.
5, from about month 5 up until that baby is 1. This a whole different bitch.
It's a whole different person.
You used to do, don't do none of this shit. It's a whole different person.
The thing is, neither one of y'all expected it, especially on that first baby. Neither one of y'all knew what it was going to be like. And I'm sure it's even more frustrating for the guy. You know, that's why, you know, when women, like, PMSing is a thing. And I'm sure it's more irritating for the guy where he's like, I just did the same thing yesterday and you were okay with it. Why are you pissed off now? And he's like, I don't understand. And she's like, I know I'm PMSing. I know I'm going crazy, but I don't know how to stop. And
I'm also telling you to leave me alone. Stop.
I'm trying to tell you, just give me a minute, because I know it's crazy right now, but with both of you not totally being able to understand the chaos that goes on with the ridiculous hormonal imbalance of having a baby, I knew that had to be a stressor on the very first one. That's why normally on the second, third, and fourth child, there tends to be less stress. It's like, I already know what's about to come. I know she's going to be like this. I know I'm going to be like this for X amount of time, at least. You know, I'm not going to flip out. And I understand, both of us, we understand that this woman is not the same person, at least right now, because of the crazy hormonal imbalance.
And he was getting his MBA.
Yes, he was.
In addition to everything else. But then it was like, and it's not just, and then, you know, I didn't have the easiest pregnancy. Neither time. Neither one was easy. So there was like a lot of extra shit going on with that. I was in and out the hospital so goddamn much. Like, it just wasn't, it was a weird time. It was. This transition was a little bit easier, although this pregnancy was harder. The transition was easier, but it was easier because I'm older. And I knew what I was walking into. And this time bed rest actually meant bed rest, not like, oh, you at home, I need you to go check on XYZ, I need you to go do this or do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was able to actually sit down and take care of myself in a way I wasn't able to in the first time. Because, like I said, he had a new job and was getting his MBA. So it wasn't like I could just not do nothing because we couldn't get the groceries delivered. We couldn't do, I still had to get up and do shit. So it's still a lot of shit I had going on, even though I couldn't go to work. Whereas here, when I got put on bed rest this time, we had the groceries delivered, we had the babysitter who would go get Brooklyn from school. We had like all that stuff we were able to put that stuff in place because it was available. We had the resources to do it because we weren't coming off of a state to state move. So it was a lot easier this time around. So it wasn't those same external stressors that they were the first time.
Okay. All right, we're talking for a while now. I feel like the interviewer this time.
Yeah, you're normally not.
No, that's normally me doing it.
It's because you're not the talker of the three of us. So what's to be expected? We actually said that before we even started this whole podcast. You're not the talker. That's not your judge.
I'll chime in, but yeah, I feel like the interviewer. So I just want to get y'all opinions on this topic.
Well, all right. I guess that wraps this up.
That'll wrap up this one. Oh, and we didn't bring this up at the beginning, but we are at our anniversary. What was that, last week? Was our anniversary?
Tomorrow.
It's tomorrow?
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow.
Well, there we go. We're
1 year.
We are at our anniversary. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
Tomorrow, June 8th.
Yeah, June 8th. Sorry. So yesterday to you guys. Thank you so much for listening to us for a year.
Yeah. Forgot when
we really truthfully appreciate your support. Remember to go like, comment, share, let everybody know. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Okay. We'll be back next week. As we said, it'll be 2 voices this time. But again,
you hear me on Crime and Wine, Reality Rewind, and Black Psych Us, wherever you get your podcasts. I'm still around. Just
won't be here. But again, she's our sister, so she ain't going nowhere for real. On that note, we will see you guys next week. All right. Peace out.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.